Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's AUDJPY Securities webinar. My name is Duncan Cooper. Tonight's webinar is live Forex market review, so let's get into that now. Before we do, if you can all read through the disclaimer, those on a YouTube live stream, I can't see the chats, so if you're chatting to me, I can't see what you're saying, but you can follow the link that I've given you and you can join us in the webinar. Or just watch. For those in the webinar, you can use the chat box or the Q&A box to talk to me. I'm just pausing a second. Just got a couple of technical issues, I think, on my side. All right, that should be all good. All right, so just take time to read through the disclaimer before we move along. All right, we'll move along. So if you don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm a senior market strategist and trade mentor here at AUDJPY Securities, and been trading the Forex market now for nearly 20 years. 2005, I started putting my toe in the water to trade the Forex market. Been mentoring for more than 10 years now. If you want to contact me, then my email's on screen, duncan.cooper@acy.com. And through the week, you can connect with me at our website, acy.com. Go to the market news tab, our YouTube channel, which is at AUDJPY Securities Australia. And if you want to connect with me personally, then my Linktree page is there. As well, if you want to get access to the charts that I'm using in MT4, just contact Nathan Bray's emails on screen. He'll set you up. And for those in the webinar, I'll give you his details in the chat. Yeah. All right, so let's get into news for the day. First of all, a few news items coming out today. So at forexfactory.com here. Now, tonight we're getting all the flash manufacturing and services data coming out. More negative than positive from the Eurozone in terms of the French and the German here. Then we've had the UK, which came out quite positive. So pound dollars further moved up on that news. Tonight, 10:30 p.m. US, that's my time, Queensland time, New South Wales time, 10:30 p.m. For the US, we have unemployment claims. 11:45, we have the US flash manufacturing and service PMI data coming out. So those two items can definitely affect the market. So be aware when that's coming out. Then into tomorrow evening, 10:30 p.m. for Canada, we've got core retail sales and retail sales. Midnight, moving into Saturday for the US, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking from the Jackson Hole Symposium. Okay. We already know, I think, from the meeting minutes from the FMC that there is a high chance that we're going to get a rate cut in September. So he may further talk on that. Well, wait and see what he says from the Jackson Hole. Right now, so 1 o'clock in the morning, we have the Bank of Governor Bay speaking as well. All right. So I might get some volatility leading into Saturday morning from the Fed. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so taking out what's coming out, these US data points can definitely affect the market at 10:30 and then 11:45. Let's get, first of all, to the dollar index. And we're almost down to the December low point of this range. And we're overextended, so it wouldn't surprise me to see at least a move back up on the dollar index, even if we did manage to just trade below here. We are overextended. I would expect we would maybe at least come back to here. Wouldn't be a surprise to see at least a rally from the low, even if we're going to long-term move through here. Expect some common rally here because all the pairs to the US dollar at the moment, the ones that have been moving up very strongly, they're like, I can't remember, I have to count them when we get there, at least what, four to 5 days up. All right, they're ready for at least a pullback. So don't be very, it's not impossible or impossible, be correct. It's not impossible for this just to keep going down for another 3, 4, 5 days through here without stopping, but generally that's not what happens. we might bounce at support and have, 1 or 2 days up at least. All right, so if we're playing the odds, there's a higher chance of that happening than us moving through at the moment. All right, S&P 500, it's been going up 2 weeks, it's probably there. Not able to have a day down in this period through here, have a negative day, but not a day down. My viewpoint's not really changing. I think we're probably going to at least touch this top. But if you want to be a buyer, I would, like to see a day or 2 days down, back down to support at 55.63. That was the level I was discussing on Tuesday. It's just the same. I'm not going to buy at the top of a move. I would need to see a day chart pullback of some form, and that would be the logical level for a pullback too. For then, I think there's a high chance we're going to trade up at 56.69, the way it's been going. And, if I go to the weekly chart here, this move, pullback, this leg up here could well get copied. All right. So I'd anticipate that sort of thing is going to happen in the market, but getting into the market, I'd like to see on the day chart at least a pullback. Let me just redo these lines. Not working as well in the day chart. I might just leave that alone. Everybody got the idea on the weekly chart, how to come up with a potential target. So let's just get rid of those. I might just finish this pair on the weekly. Or sorry, this indices or index, singular. All right. So we could be, heading up towards the 57.90 level. Well, top of that trend line is 58.25 is the number. So somewhere at the 5,800 levels for a potential top there long term. Okay, euro dollar. So we've been having 1, 2, 3, 4 days up, and we're inside at the moment. We still have US news to come out, but we are starting to form a candle here where we're not able to come up to the high of the day before. And this is the December high. So this is a significant reference point. I discussed it on Tuesday, where we could at least have some selling pressure. Doesn't mean to say we're going to finally top, or we could end up with a complete false break here and a complete move down. So one or two things is going to happen here. We're going to maybe have a pullback down to 10.95. This is a weekly high just over here on the left. Can you squash the chart in a bit? Squash that in. It'll let me. This area over here. Now, of course, we could be coming up to the July of last year's high. That's at 12.75, but we're, quite a bit away from that on the euro dollar. I would at the moment at least preempt that we probably might be having 1 or 2 days back. And a good level to watch would be this area here at 10.95. Yesterday, we couldn't quite get to there. You can see there on the candle. Just managed to pull back up almost to the figure at 111. So any pullback at the moment may well come in at 110.95 to 111. All right. So that's what I would be looking for. I'm not going to, if I wanted to buy, I would not be buying at the high here. All right, so this to the 4-hour chart. And what I also wanted to do, we could be putting in a significant top up here. We'll have to wait a few days to see what price action wants to do. But I would expect price to maybe be pulling back to here. For the buyer's perspective, down to here, we get support here on a pullback, then, this is where buyers could look for a trade. If you want to be looking for a reversal, or quite clearly, right now, you should be looking maybe to get in. as we're once more back below that high. I said on Tuesday, though, this imbalance over here, I know we're miles up here and we're all in an uptrend on the day chart, but there's an imbalance back here, back from the start of August that got formed. We might want to come in and fill all this area. So if that's going to be the case, and we don't know yet, but if you're thinking, well, we could see some weakness here, this could be a great target if you could get short up here with a tight stop. All right. So this is, we have had, that was the move down from the flash services data. We kind of had a 62% bounce from the low, and in all probability, we might come back down and retest that area. Now, I don't quite like the way price has been forming in terms of just getting in right now. I mean, I could just get in right now and put my stop above here, but I would much prefer to see at the moment price action to continue down for the next leg. And then when we get the next rally, look to sell a rally. Like this was a 62% retracement. That would have been a great area to look for a short, but we've missed that. So now I would like to see a further break, rally, and if I wanted to short, try and short a rally back up to the 1139 level. It's not a great rally here. It's not great just to think, okay, I'm going to short it here, because that's not great. That's not how price action generally works. We need to see a break at this low first to come back up to here. So just have to be patient for price action to nicely form itself. If you want to sell a rally, you need to see that breakdown first and then rally. All right. So maybe an opportunity short here. Just have to wait and see if price action can offer it. From a buyer's perspective, down in this area once more, if we revisit today. All right. I wanted to, just highlight the strong moves that we've been having. Just want to go to my other charts. I've got my D on. You look at any favorite pairs. I like to look on the 4-hour charts when we're getting up to maybe a significant top or bottom area. MACD's crossing down here on the 4-hour. So it's just telling you that maybe we are, at least the momentum's running out here in the short term. So if I was thinking about shorting at a major level, it's been very strong. I'll just wait for this to cross first. That gives me an indication then, okay, maybe the market's in the short term put its brakes on. And then if I wanted to short at a key level, at least that gives me a little bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling that, okay, I might be heading in the right direction over the next 24 hours. Like this movement down here and this movement down here, we're getting across and across. All right. Euro yen. Now it's getting a little bit choppy in here. It's a bit similar on all the yen pairs. And just get rid of that fib, that small fib. The big question is, are we going to move back up this range? All right, this is the monthly range, 79% pullback. Yes, we've been getting support there, moved up. Now we're at the 62 area, and this line here at 161.43 is, I think that's just a daily level. This top here. I just wanted to clarify where I was getting it from. Just want to make sure it wasn't back in time. So this area here where we held 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 or 5 days before breaking higher, even though we false broke it Monday, is being support here the last 2 days. Now, of course, right now we can't go back down on 161.43 and trade up from there. And right now we're up against, there's day support that was now resistance here, and the resistance that was is now support. So we're trapped between those two, support and resistance at the moment. And the true reality is this could break you know, where's the long-term direction on this? Could you actually break north or south? It's very tight in here. All I can absolutely say is, you can see it. You can see exactly the same. We can all see the same thing. We held here intraday after spiking through. We've held here today intraday. We've held here intraday. Are we holding one more time? And this is support down here. All right, so that's what the market's offering at the moment. Sooner or later, it's going to break above or below. But at the moment, there's the range. So you should be trading like a range shorting here. So you can be shorting here, stop at that pivot point. If we come back down to support, taking profits, looking to trade back up. Right, that's what the market's offering at the moment. So until it breaks, I'm inclined to think if I had to have a bet, it's maybe going to break north, because I think the dollar yen once more is getting support down at the 79% level of the major range today or yesterday. So I'm a little bit inclined to think this might break north, but I'm just logically looking at it. All I can see is it's holding between these two price points. So if I have to trade this pair today, I have to say that this is potentially short here, back down to the bottom of the range. Until improved, until you that proves you're different. All right. And then the euro pound. It's had a small rally and it's further moving down. It's going to be moving down to fill the imbalances that got formed on this leg up here. That's what it's doing. So that's at the moment it's not helping us because it only had a minor rally. Didn't do any much more than a minor rally. It's actually referencing the 62% level of this range. So getting short, if you're not already short this, you need to move to the 4-hour chart and look at the 4-hour range and look for a rally. So look to the 62.79% area. All right, I can also see it could just go a fraction high. So I would look for a rally, keep dragging the fib down if it keeps moving down, look to that zone, or of course it could come up to here. You could see some kind of head and shoulder pattern form. All right, so the go is not to sell at the bottom of the move. It is to wait for a rally. Let's see what forms. As well, this old area here would tie in nicely with this area too to be resistance. So look for that kind of rally to occur, and then can you see the opportunity to get short? Okay, so whilst the euro, I just want to see what the euro is doing. It's still moving down. So euro dollar and pound dollar both been moving up strongly. Today, the euro is getting a little bit weak from its data from flash services data we've been seeing. Pound has managed to have another day up on its flash services data because it was a lot more positive. So it is heading towards at the moment. If we drop to the weekly chart, there's this last year's May, June high here, whatever the date was. I should say July it actually is. July high of last year. So that would, would price just move straight through that high, last year's high? Usually at yearly high points or yearly low points, we get some kind of at least a halt and a reaction. If not, a very strong reversal. So it is not where you want to buy into. You should have been buying before now and looking to take profits into this area, or at least if you're if you've been able to get long earlier, you're hoping this is going to break. It's not an area where you want to be buying. It's, this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positive days. The last time we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positive days here, even though we had a little bit of a dip there, we then had about a 4-week decline. And as well, let's just talk about these swings here. That was actually, I think, the range of July here. Pull back to the 79% level where it got support. And we're not quite at the 127 extension yet, but we're definitely getting right up into the profit-taking phase of that move. I do want to measure the moves. You're going to see that we are extended beyond the measure. That should hopefully tell you that there shouldn't be much more upward move left on this. And if there is, great. If you've been long, if you got long in the early phase of the move, say back in this area, great. But this is a profit taking area. All right, it's not where you suddenly decide on getting long because I've missed out on all this move, so I need to get long now, and then suddenly it tops out and you go, what gives? All right, this is where you want to be taking profits or tightening in your stops and hoping that it'll keep running. All right. So hopefully we can all see that that is getting in very high mode, profit taking mode. We could come up to 130, 142 for sure and test it. And that could be an area where we could see a nice interim reversal. Doesn't mean to say the long-term trend is going to change, but we could see at least a short-term reversal up there. I mean, we could, if everything works out like it worked last time, let's say that's the top, we could get a movement back down. Like so, back to the 79% level. All right. That's more than possible. So at the moment, $127 extension at 3160, 3142 is that July high from last year. So 3142, that's the level to watch at the moment. Can't quite get there at the moment. I actually thought we topped yesterday. We're actually failing at the top of yesterday at the moment. So depending on your position, your mode of operation, you could be shorting up at yesterday's high or waiting to see if we can spike up to 3142, and then can you see a really tight entry to maybe get short up there. From a buyer's perspective, if you're prepared to buy the pound at the moment, it's still at the very high prices without having any major reaction. I would look down here at that high, which is 130.52 down to 130.44. Do we, over the next maybe couple of trading days, get a pull back to here and hold? Even then, this is still very high, but at least that would be a good level of support. It's last month's high, and then would that come up to maybe test up at 134, so 131.42. I think though, if we struck this, if we strike 134.42 before pulling back, I wouldn't be that happy. I wouldn't be that fussed about being a buyer, because I would think then maybe we'll top out up here in the short term for a correction back down the range. All right, but that would be the buy area at the moment, and you could be as well, assuming that maybe that spike up just now is the top, a short-term interim top. You draw a fib up like so, 62.79% zone overlaps with this area of support, so that would be an ideal area to look for your support to come in to see if you can manufacture a setup to buy. Okay, just want to move to 15, have a look. I mean, there is a possibility today that this could just pull back to 131, hold for support, trade up as well intraday. That would be an intraday level to watch if you're prepared to be a buyer at such high levels. All right, but from a sell side perspective, quite clearly up here, 131.42 is a very significant high. So don't be surprised if we hit that level and then we reverse. So if you can structure a tight entry up there for a reversal back down, that could well be the go. All right, Aussie yen. So this is what I drew in on Tuesday. I said all these highs that were holding, well, failing and reversing down from 97.66, which is a monthly area of support resistance. I said watch it to be support. Well, there you go. It has been. So just to show you where we're getting that line from, it's this area here on the monthly chart. And it's a bit like the euro dollar, so the euro yen, stuck between support and resistance here. I'm going to go back to the pound yen in a minute because I missed doing that one. But at the moment, here we're stuck between monthly support now at 97.66 and resistance at 98.43. I'm just going to drop the day chart. So it is a bit choppy in here. So I said watch this area on the 4-hour chart. And like I was saying on the euro yen, this could break either way. It's not that clear because it's getting support at 97.66 here, and it may come up to 98.43 today, but then hold. You can see yesterday on the news spike, didn't want to be above 98.43, and it doesn't want to go below really 97.66. So 15-minute chart, that is the area. Once he spiked through on the news, you see it held there on that movement back up, came back down and traded back up. Support along that line, support along that line. So, there's resistance, there's support. So until we get a clear break one way or the other, that's your range, okay? Much like the euro yen I was showing you. All right, just go back to the pound pairs. Pound yen, it is putting in a higher bottom here on the daily. Starting to get a bit of support around that 62 level of the monthly range. So the monthly range here, higher bottom to top. Folks brought the 79. So it's maybe looking a little bit stronger than the other yen pairs. 4-hour. I won't get into the 4-hour charts though. On all these yen pairs, they're very sideways. Top of the range here is this high in general terms. 91,261. 191,261. Getting close to that. All right. It's a bit more bullish than the other pairs, but it's coming up. I'm just going to zoom this out. It's coming up to here at the moment. Like if I was wanted to buy the pound yen, I wouldn't buy it here, would I? Because I'm getting straight up to this high. And there's this massive spike up where it rejected. So up here is not the buyer's area. The buyer's area is down here. So today I would say you want to look at, go to the 4-hour chart. If we are breaking north at any point, you want to be able to trade this on a pullback. Just wanted to find out where the 4-hour low was, swing low was, is wherever this tops out at, you want to look to see it pull back to the 62.79% zone. It's definitely getting, support lows in here. So if this was to come back down, something like that, looking to buy a dip within, at least the intraday bullish structure that's been forming today. Not buying it at the top of the move, because you can hopefully see here. I've been showing you how to measure these swings. Whilst there's a couple of swings, there's a move up, down, move up. just eyeballing some ranges here. If I measure that there, then this movement up here has surpassed that move. So this is overextended in the short term, but it's still got some kind of bullish structure. So that's why I'm, looking at the swings and the ranges that the market's been forming intraday. This is overextended up here. I'd expect this to move back down this range at the moment. Could even just draw your fib across this area. That's the most immediate. That was a pullback down to there. Then that's the complete move up to there, quite possibly. And then look to that area for support. All right, back into the Aussies now. The Aussie dollar, bit range bound today. It has had a day down. Very much in an uptrend. I did put that line in and discussed it Tuesday. 67.61. That was the last top that we false broke before coming straight down here. So this is where all the selling pressure started before we run all the way down there. Where are we stopping at yesterday? Where the selling pressure started last time. All right, so don't be surprised if we top out or if we've topped out up there, okay, because the market put a high in at the level that I've drawn in that we false broke at and reversed that last time. Now, at the moment, it is very much in an uptrend. But of course, when we came down here, we were very much in a downtrend. So the market can quickly turn at key levels. And you really have to drop down to maybe a 4-hour chart to start to see if it's telling you that we're maybe reversing at these key areas. So the 4-hour chart has put in a little bit of a bottom in here, a lower bottom to last bottom. And there's maybe a little potential. So that has moved to a lower bottom. We could see a move back to this area. Well, we already have on the last candle, you see. Little head and shoulder could form here to initiate the downward move. So we probably had just eyeballing. I'm guessing that's a little 79% rally on the 15-minute chart. Not quite, didn't quite get there, but it's already kind of turned over. The news later in the day, it's well worth watching. That's the left shoulder. It's well worth watching. See how we hit it. The little intraday double top here. We could still move back up here today. So I would watch when the US news comes out. Does it drive us up? For one last trade up here to move down. All right, might not get up there now, may have already failed there. But hopefully you can see there, that's why it's failing. It's maybe forming a head and shoulder pattern up there if you're onto earlier in the day. All right, so that 67.50-ish area is very tough at the moment. So any revisit there is well worth watching for a setup to shorts up there. Just from the buy, let's have a look at the buy side. If there's a buy side, maybe to look here. Let's just get rid of that. This 67.14 to 04, these two tops here, I would look to that area for support. So already offered support this week on the move up. This day dip back down on the low of the day. Right, so that's where you want to be buying if you're prepared to buy at the higher end of the range. And this is quite clearly the area. If you want to start to engage on the short side, up at the 67.51 area here. If we revisit, may have already failed there. All right, New Zealand yen. So this is last couple of trading days, it's stuck at, that is actually a weekly broken support level. Stuck up there. This is a weekly and monthly high here. It's actually getting support there this week and resistance here this week. Two clear price levels. It's just starting to put in, it's been zigzagging up and down here, putting some high bottoms and tops in here on the pair. I don't like, I'd much, if I wanted to maybe trade this uptrend that we're seeing, just trade it up here. I'd be much happy for this to come down like 79% retracement to get along for the next leg up like so. Now, whether or not the market will offer that, you can move to the 4-hour. Draw in the fib. Just want to make sure that's in the right spot. Yes, it is. And look at it on the 50-minute chart. I might have to go to the 1-hour chart. Here we go. Got last month's low here down at 88.50 and the 79% level at 88.65. Within this kind of very range, is it in an uptrend, but it's very rangy. It's having kind of deep dips. I would look to this zone, last month's low, to the 79% area here, 88.65 down to 88.50. You can see respecting here, broke. It was trying to hold below through this area, broke above, and then it's respected here, even though it dipped down. So I could well come back into that zone once more. All right, but out of the yen pairs, this is most definitely showing a little bit more of a clear uptrend, even though it's very zigzaggy. It's very tight in its ranges, but it is showing you a clear uptrend there at the moment on the daily. New Zealand to the daily. So we're definitely in the selling zone of the range. $61.70 there. All right, makes sense why that's traded above it yesterday. It's just tested it today. Now, if you wanted to be a buyer, it should be buying at the lower end of the range. You don't want to be buying at the top end of the range, okay? Higher chance now that this is going to maybe consolidate here and potentially fall back down the range. 4-hour chart at the moment is still higher top, higher bottom. I think for me on this, that looks like a 79% retracement of this range, even though it's in an uptrend. So it's hit that 61.70 with a 79% to 15. If it was to revisit that area, that would be a similar area to what we're discussing on the Aussie dollar. That area would be worth watching for short today if it got back up there. Last month's high coming across here. You can see it's offering some kind of support here. So it's quite tight, the field for the buyers and the sellers at the moment. That is the buy area, last month's high at 61.53. And that is the sell area up there. So what side of the market do you want to play? Those are the levels to watch there on the New Zealand. But just moving it back to the 4-hour. If we were to break this 4-hour higher bottom here, so it changes the structure to down, that could well be the signal that we're going to be moving back down the range. So watch the structure on the 4-hour. If it definitely breaks to the downside, its structure, that could be all you need for it to reverse back down. The euro dollar and the pound are like excessively high levels at the moment. They should maybe having a day or two pullback, and that's going to obviously help this pullback as well if we start to see that. All right, dollar Canadian to the daily. It is at the moment underneath this support, but yesterday we couldn't close below it. So I don't like just selling just under a break of support like that or a major level. We could easily false break there. So like we false broke right at the top to move back down, we could easily false break here to move back up. To trade down from 35.88 on 35.88 as a level of resistance, I would need to see a clear move down here away from the area and then a rally back up, something like that. Not just one day or half a day and then try and trade against that level, because at the moment we're in the realms of it false breaking, hasn't convincingly moved through enough. So at the moment, I think the go is just to maybe wait and see what the day brings. By the end of the day, are we closing below or have we closed back above? Most certainly on a lower time frame, if we get a nice, when the US news comes out, if we get a really good candle back above 35.88, I think we close back above, you could most definitely be looking on the 4-hour chart to start to see price action want to come down and play this back to support, to be a support area to start trading up. I would start to look for the candles to form like that, because major level of supports, often we just false break and then turn around and show an uptrend back up. I like the price action here. See, it comes up to a higher top, forms a higher bottom, and up she goes. So I would be looking for this kind of price action to maybe form over here. We don't have it yet. I would need to see a very substantial move below there before wanting to look at 35.88 to be resistance. We'll have to wait and see what, just have to wait and see what price forms over the next couple of trading days. Dollar franc. All right. I was looking for, looking for a rally. It hasn't rallied yet. Where's the next lower top going to form? All right. We've moved back down to a lower bottom. I'd need to see this rally to form a lower top. So all right. Of course, price actions might probably need 2 or 3 days of work to do that, but that's what I'd look for. We're very low here at the moment. I wouldn't want to just sell after 5 days down. Dollar yen. All right, so whilst this structurally is maybe in a downtrend on the day now because it's broken this low, on your monthly chart, there's the 79% retracement. Monthly trend is up here. We've actually come back down to 144.89 to trade today and yesterday. There's a day chart. See today how we got the low of the day. Stuck at 144.89. That is not, I don't think, just some kind of random thing. All right, so the 4-hour structure is still down here, but today, I think with the US news coming out, we were to come back down today to 144.89 on any news reaction and hold once more. They're getting long at 145 or close to. This could well be the bottom that we're forming down here to move back up the range. If the 79% retracement of the monthly range and the monthly trend is up still, this is very low within the long-term uptrend on the monthly chart for a bottom to form for a whole move back up the range if it really wants to. So, you don't have to get long at such low levels, but if we start to see structure forming up to a higher top and we pull back to form a higher bottom on the 4-hour chart. Maybe we could still retouch 144.89, but we come up to a higher top. Then we pull back to form a higher bottom. Little head and shoulder pattern forms here on the 4-hour chart inverse. If that can structurally form over the next, that might take us until Monday to form. All right, but if that was to come together, show that kind of bullish structure on the 4-hour chart with 144.89 to 145 starting to offer support. I don't know, that might be a very strong signal that we're moving back up. Okay, so it's not showing us that, but I will be watching for that at the moment. And then, you know, you could look to participate to the upside if it started to form. Okay, finishing on gold. It's actually touched the area today that I highlighted on Tuesday. So on the day chart, I was suggesting that we where that fib. Didn't want to trade so high up at the high of the day, at the high of that all-time move. But if we could pull back, maybe have a day down just to not be so high up, to continue the uptrend with another higher bottom forming. So I was looking at this range. We could still come back into this zone. I would use that low, that area there. So, you know, between 24.99 down to the 79% fib at 24.95. If we revisit that today when the news comes out, that's most definitely the buying area within the long-term trend. All right, always looking to buy a dip, not buying at the all-time high. We're still very close to the all-time high, so you have to be very careful, because when we're at the all-time high, we can get, you know, a good swift couple of 2-day pullback. You know, this like this pullback here, or this pullback here. All right, you know, if we were to, at least if you're buying a dip and then the price moves back up, you can get your trade to break even. Then if it wants to do that dip, you know, that dip there measured comes, that's a long way down. If you're trying to, you know, that would be a much better area to buy if we got that sort of correction. But we don't know whether we can get that sort of correction. But at the moment, it's just holding its day chart uptrend after having a 1-day down. So I would watch, as I was saying, 24.99 down to 24.95 there. Do we pull back into that area once more today for support? All right, that's my thoughts on gold. Clearly, gold's in an uptrend, or put in a fresh high, not what, 2 days ago. So got no reference point on the day chart at the moment to say we're at any kind of resistance, because we're forming new highs as we're going along. So trend is up until it's not. But I don't think you want to be buying at the high, at the all-time high, do you? Right, so I'll leave you that thoughts on gold. Try to buy a dip if you want to trade on gold. I just want to see what the euro is doing. Just sticking around that 11.39 level. I mean, the thing we're definitely seeing here at the moment is structurally earlier in the day, it wanted to be support here. When then we got the PMI data coming out, well, not PMI data, what was it? PMI data. The manufacturing services PMI data coming out. Once we've had that, there has definitely been a flip to wanting now to maybe hold. Below. What's support? Is it now resistance? So, I mean, you could be selling here, stop above here, stop above here, stop above here, depending on your risk profile preference, how you want to structure things. I'd much prefer to see this come down, break that low, and that be resistance on a rally, because it just would, I would like much, that price action would be a lot nicer and friendlier. Quite clear at the moment, we maybe a little bit mixed here now. We have a lower bottom, lower top, higher bottom. So it's a little, which way is it going to move now? All right. What's that pound doing? Pound still going up. So maybe it is going to hit 31.42 today. All right, I'll leave you with those thoughts. Thanks, everybody. So just be aware of, later in the day, US dollar unemployment claims coming out 10:30. Manufacturing and service PMI data coming out at 11:45 for the US. Those two unemployment claims last week was lower than expected. That can definitely drive the market though, for sure. I think last Thursday we had positive news from the US from memory, and then the pairs to the US dollar all went up, which, so market's not necessarily reacting correctly to the news as it comes out for whatever reason at the moment, but all you can do is wait till the news comes out, see what the kind of reaction you're getting, and can you see a setup at a level maybe that you're wanting to trade around. Okay, so be aware of that data coming out and then see what happens in the market after that. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Have a great rest of the day and rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you. I'm not going to be around next week. I'm away next week. I will be back the week after. All right, so I am back in on board on here we go. There's a webinar link on the 3rd of September. I'm back. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Steve. See you all next time.